in fact, the development as far as what we've been reporting here on Mirror now, that the Delhi AQI hits another high. In fact, this is the day after AQI breaches into red zone. Average AQI recorded at 293. In fact, Delhi AQI remains in poor category, and the pollution levels inch towards a very poor, which is extremely concerning. Remember, this is also a day after the air quality index breaches into the red zone. I'm given to understand Kritika Tiwari, my colleague, is joining me. I believe she's joining us from the vicinity of Akshardham. So we'll get a better perspective, because that's somewhere in between also the Delhi NCR region of the national capital and Noida as well. Kritika, very good morning to you. This is not great news, and this is exactly what, through your reportage, we have been looking at in terms of how this was going to be happening, in terms of what citizens would have to expect with the unhealthy air that they're going to be breathing, with the mark now reaching somewhere around 300. Tell us where you're reporting from in specific, so we can get a quick idea of how bad this is.
Right, currently we're reporting from the Akshardham temple, and behind me again you can see it is the all too familiar unpleasant sight of haze that is still descending even early morning at this hour. You can see that the skyline again is grey, the same situation that we were reporting yesterday. The traffic movement also all across the flyover from where we're reporting right now. All we see is the early signs of haze, early signs of what is to come in the following days. Now, this morning itself, as you were saying, the AQI is inching way close to the 300 very poor mark. And what that essentially tells us is the level of preparation that not just Delhi, but the national capital region, in fact, has to be geared up for. Today, we know that the Delhi Environment Minister, Gopal Rai, he will be convening a meeting with the PWD officials as well as officials from relevant authorities of transport and the Delhi Pollution Control Committee. And we'll see what more measures can be taken in order to control the effect of air pollution right now on the air quality, especially so in Anand Vihar and the other 12 hotspots that have been identified in the city. So that is currently what we are picking up. Also, what we're learning from the early warning systems of the Indian Meteorological Department is that weather conditions are the primary cause of why air pollutants are not being able to disperse. See, this is the pre-winter season, and wind speed is quite low, because of which emissions from industries as well as farm fires, waste burning is all suspended in the air, and it's being trapped in this region. So we're yet to see what more will be done and whether or not policies that have been in place for a long time now are going to show any effects in the coming weeks.
You know, and that's essentially the bigger question, right? Like you rightly pointed out, there are multiple factors, but like you said, there are already things implemented over the past 1 year, because we know even when that kind of conversation happens, politically speaking, the blame game continues. But here what we see is, with the situation that happens every year, which is unfortunately the same story, even for somebody like you who's reporting on ground zero, will look at the fact that this is concerning, considering we don't see any big change on ground. You have enough time to kind of change that through the year, because you know these are the given instances. Like you said, stubble burning is one of the reasons why we're looking at the aftermath of this air quality. Kritika.
Right, in fact, we have a number of policies in place already. Before October, the Delhi government had their winter plan, which was enacted. It is a 21-step plan in order to prepare us for a better weather. We have the National Clean Air Policy at the national level, in fact. And CAQM is also a central pollution control body. They also enforced GRAP Stage 1. So all of these policies are in place, but unfortunately, none are able to show effects that we would expect. Now, the Delhi government has been claiming that consistently over the last 4 years specifically, pollution has gone down by over 30%. But again, a lot more has to be done, because this is the air that we are breathing in. There is no escape from it. There are no foolproof precautions that we can take. So much more needs to be done. Definitely, there are a lot of people who are the most affected. Younger people, older people, people who have to be out, who do not have the luxury of staying inside closed rooms in an office space, who have to work in the open, they're the most affected. So what more can be done, especially what we are looking at right now, and the sooner and more stringent the laws are, is probably only when we are going to see any reactions. Even the Supreme Court has been pointing out that for a long time now, even though all of these policies are in place, the issue becomes that there is a lot of discussion, but not a lot of penalization that happens. So right now we are more interested in seeing what will be taken up by authorities in this front. Will officials be penalized for lapses in judgment, for not being able to control stubble burning and other instances of air pollution and urban pollution inside the city? What takes place in this regard is our major focus.